Alright, well, Monday, and it's lunchtime, so time for some lunchtime prospecting. Alright, so I brought the Gold Hog with me on Saturday, and when I was out there, it started pouring down rain. I mean, it looked just like this. You know, it was windy, it was cloudy, so it looked just like that, and started sprinkling, and then all of a sudden it just started pouring rain. So what I did is I folded these legs down, dropped this thing, pulled the legs out, threw those in the bucket in the tote that I was using as a recirculation tub. So, you know, I dumped my water out, threw the Gold Hog in there, threw the legs in there, and you know, because I'd been slowly packing up during the day, knowing that it was getting ready to happen. And there's a bee trying to eat my hamburger bun. So I folded it down, threw it in the tub, and walked off, took off. So let's see, drain that water. Go, set that off on this side. So here's what the mats look like. Obviously, all we saw previously was all I did was run just this miner's moss. So I've already pulled the wing nut. I gotta get something underneath it to bang on the screw to pop that up, and I'll pull that out. But let's get a look at how this is looking. Is that gold? I don't know. I think that it is. But it could be mica as well. Let's see. I always say that. Alright, so I knocked that little bolt out. Alright, the screw out. All I did was tapped on it with something, and it popped right up. Rinsed it off. So you can see there's a little bit of material. It just came from the threads of the screw and off of the wing nut. And then I plugged my finger over it, so nothing really fell out underneath. But this is the fun. We're gonna pull this guy. I should probably take this off. You know what? Let me come back in a second, and I will take this flap off, and we'll just get a straight look at the whole thing, and we'll go from there. All right, let's take a look at this. So you can see those mats. They really filled up with a lot of material. We weren't able to see this with that flap on there. You know, everything was dumping right off into here. But to be honest, you can't really tell that there's anything down in there. You can't see gold or anything. It's not lighting the box up yellow, but everything went through there. And this also was what we weren't able to see. These first sets of stuff. You see a nice little garnet right there. Bet you that's another one right there. Nice little heavy amount there. Nice heavy amount there. Let's back that up. Alright. So I took the flapper. Rinse that. Okay, so I've got my little parts. That right there holds this down in the back. Actually, it goes like that. Holds that down. We pulled that. We pulled the flap, which goes here. We pulled that now out of the way. And we've rinsed everything. But now, here comes the fun. Look at that. So that, I believe, will be where the bulk of the material is going to be hiding of what we're looking for. If my thoughts are right, is that a piece of gold right there in front of my finger? Maybe. But you can see it's awfully packed full of stuff. So I really do expect that there's going to be a lot within that pack right there, that bunch. You know, I didn't have a lot of water flow, so we're going to have a lot in there, I think. So let's see what we can do here with this guy. Okay, I'm not left-handed, so I'm better off using my right hand to steady the camera. Looks and feels pretty clean. Sure, there's some pebbles and stuff in there, and I could probably wrangle that out a little better, but I bet you I got most of it. Good, good, good. Alright, we'll let that guy strain into there. It's not going to hurt nothing. We've got our catch bucket. Not that I think it's going to need it. But alright, let's attend to these burgers. It's time to give them a quarter turn again. Time to put on Aunt Joe's cheese. She likes white cheddar. And me, I just like Kraft American singles. Alright, I just slow do it and leave this lid open. Get our little fancy brioche bun on there. There we go. This is the good stuff now. I mean, it's windy, it's cold out, and it's sprinkling for a little bit. We're going to let this do its thing. Let those melt. In the meantime, we're going to pour off that water. I'm going to set you guys up so you can watch. Trust me, it's nothing exciting. I'm just pouring off water. It's over here. Because it's dirty. You know, we're trying to get that down so it's not so dirty. Look at that. So that's what we're looking at. Straight out of the mat. Now we're not going to do any panning. Not now. We're going to be eating burgers here in a minute. But I did want to get this set up and ready for this evening. So I got this part. From just shaking it, do I see anything on top? No. Maybe. Is it mica? Maybe. But it looks good. There was gold in the other stuff, so there should be gold in here too. I don't even know what that is. Something silvery looking. Well, we're going to find out tonight. We're going to find out tonight what's in here. I'll bring you back later on when I get off of work, and we'll pull this mat. And we'll see what's in all that stuff. That's going to be fun. That'll take a little time to go through all that. But look at that cheese. Look at the cheese. It's starting to melt and go over the sides. Get those buns off of there. Toasted, perfect. Close that lid. Close that lid and let that cheese melt on it. Oh yeah, it's starting to fall. There we go. That's what I was after. Cap it. I'll let that guy stay just a moment longer. That white cheddar needs a moment. So good. We'll leave that lid on there. It's starting to rain again. It's starting to sprinkle. I can see water hitting the tubs. Not hard, but sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah. Little sprinkles. All right. And there we go. So that's lunch today. So that was fun. A little lunchtime prospecting. I'll see you guys at dinner. Or after dinner, maybe. Alright. I just got home from work. Started panning it back. This is just that miner's moss. So nice. I mean, I know it's a whole bunch of buckets, but in that miner's moss, you can see through it. So I believe most of it is still sitting right up in there. But that's encouraging. That's very encouraging. That's some, you know, Jeff was saying I'm going to get smaller size stuff because we're further down the river. We were getting bigger flakes as we were. I guess we go down the little trail, turn to the right, go upriver, bigger flakes. Turn to the left. We went left this time, and he said expect to get smaller stuff. I don't mind the smaller stuff. I mean, as long as it always looks good sitting in that pan. So I'm going to finish panning that back. I'll show you what it is without that black sand. So give me a moment. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Look at that. That's just that miner's moss. Next, I'm going to get that sucked up into my snuffer bottle. And then I'm going to put the camera on the tripod. I'm going to pull this mat. Get it down into the bucket. I guess we'll get some water into this bucket or use a different bucket. But yeah, this is going to be next on the list. We're going to find out what's in there. All right, I better make it quick. It's starting to get crappy out again. Let's see. Sprinkling, the wind's picking up. This bucket has jet dry in it. Now I'm doing this over the table because there's that hole up at the top where this piece goes in, and this goes straight through. I just want to make sure I don't have anything that falls out the bottom onto the deck through the holes. Do our best not to make a mess. Just in case. These some heavy duty mats. All right, here we go. Now, according to Doc, this should be totally clean. Got to reverse roll it too. Throwing lion. He's not telling a fib there. That's clean, 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 baby. Well, there's some material, but that's why we go the other way. I got my brush. I have to go get it if I need it. Let's see how we do. Oh, yeah, I think we're looking good. We get the brush anyway. Okay. There's stuff all over the place. I'm just afraid I'm going to spill it. Cardboard. It's getting windy. Stuff's kind of blowing around here on the deck. We've got the cons in our bad bucket. I'm going to bend that in a little bit so it hooks back in. But how about this? Let's not make any mistakes. Let's put it on the ground. Let's see if you can see that. Get you turned a little bit. There. That'll be better. I think we'll all appreciate that. Hopefully. All right, all good. You always say, all good. There's always a little bit down there. All right. Like this. Rinse this off. Remember, there's jet tri galore in these buckets, in our tailings, our panning table, bucket here thing. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, let's take a look and we'll see what was in that bucket. All right, this is, let's see, I did 8 buckets. I brought 1 home for Nate. I did my first bucket and we checked the miner's moss, and then we did all those other buckets, checked the miner's moss, but never pulled these mats. So these mats have 7 buckets worth of material on them. Let's take a look. I haven't done anything except pour it in the pan. Look, there's a garnet right there. I'm expecting to find a lot of those. You see here in the middle, there's an awful lot of black sand. I believe that's another garnet. Nice one. It's floating in this tub and it keeps floating away. But yeah, that looks like a good one. Lots of little garnets, but also, you know, look at a lot of black sand. A lot of light gravelly material like that. You know, it's funny to look at some of these yellow rocks from up here with my eyes. It's like, oh my God, it's gold. Look at it through the camera. Nope, that's a yellow rock. But yeah, looks good, right? That'll be fun. We're going to pan it down. But look at this. It's starting to rain. Well, northwest rain. It means it'll just stand out here and get soaking wet. You know, it may not look like a lot. Drip, 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 drip. I'm already feeling like, all right, I got to step over underneath the eaves here. Okay, so I'm back. I don't know where I left off. The rain keeps raining on my phone and pressing the button to pause it. But I just wanted to say, while I'm up on the river, I tend not to take an awful lot of videos because that's Jeff's, that's his spot. So I figured that when I was there, we'll let him showcase where we're digging and show the layers of how the gravels look. And he came over, he showed a lot of, shots of the hole I was digging. So I think that that's great. I love that part. But I definitely want to share with everyone the cleanup aspect of it. And then the next time I go up there, I'm hoping that I'll be a little more fine-tuned with my stuff. That's what's really fun about going up there with him and letting him shoot the video, is that he's been doing it, he said, for 7 years. So it's fun for me to come up there. And, I'm a total hobby miner. I've been, interested in panning since Gold Rush came out. So, I was buying bags of pay dirt back then when a gram was like $40, and I got all sorts of, I've got like 10, 11 grams of gold that I got from the early days, way back when gold was under $1,000. So I've been, interested in all of this, for, a long time, since Gold Rush started on TV and the Hoffmans went up to Alaska. I eventually picked up little bits of stuff. I think the first thing I got, my wife got me a sluice, a river sluice with a header box on it. So I switched it out, took the river sluice end off of it and put the header box on. I went down to the beaches here and we found a lot of like garnet sand. We don't tend to have a lot of garnet. It's just beat up sand on the beaches. So, all right, so my phone says that I keep hitting some limit of, oh, you've recorded enough. I don't think so. I haven't had a chance to show you that, and I've just barely started panning it back. Look at those nuggets. Good stuff, and tons of stuff has been pushing back in here. I just wanted to hit those layers where I was going to start seeing some good-looking color in here. But it's great. There's tons of garnets in there. There's some nice-looking flakes of gold. Man, that's going to be great. It's going to be great, but I got to get out of the rain. It's not slowing down. It's just continuing to keep going. So I am going to pack up my little tripod, put that guy away, get ready for next time. I'll bring this stuff inside tonight again, I guess. But you know what? I'm going to get this baby possibly rinsed down into there. Let's do that. Let's see. Are you watching? Are you paying attention? is heavy. That's why I'm only going to do it once. Oops. I'm not ready. It is nice having a table. I've really contemplated bringing that table with me when I go down to the river. Just somewhere to put your junk. It's not in the mud and the silt. All right, splash, splash, splash. And like Jeff Williams says, yeah, you're gonna get wet. That's the best part. But you're gonna get wet. Because it's true. If you're worried about getting wet, maybe this isn't the right thing for you. Always down by the water. Always splashing water on stuff. Okay, guess what? I'm all done. Finished. I panned all that. I panned it, and I like panning, so I panned it instead of using some other equipment. But that actually is a lot of material, and that came out of my Gold Hog, the piglet, and it came out of the mats, and it came out of the miner's moss that's in there. And I'll tell you what, that holds a lot of material. That's a lot. It took me a couple of nights of panning. We've been having some power outages, planned power outages from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. So, I get home from work, and at about 7, I'll start panning, and I'll pan for a couple hours, and then, lights would go out. So I was picking garnets and picking out all sorts of other stuff out of there. Well, garnets in the gold. That's the other stuff. So we'll pause right here. Just wanted you to see how much cons that actually come from a Gold Hog piglet mat. So this is just cats, 30-ounce cat thing. You can find those at Walmart. So you can see that's sizable, 2 fingers worth at least. 2 fingers worth at least. So, all right, we'll pause that and we'll go do a snuffer dump, and you guys can see how much I got up at the river with Jeff. Jeff's gonna like that. I might even try and dry it out and weigh it, but we'll see. All right, coming up next. All right, I'm inside. Lunchtime snuffer dump. Gave Johanna most of my sandwich. There's my French dip sauce to dip it in. Here we go. Here's the gold we got. Can't see it because it's still in there. You can see kind of a little bit there at the end. But let's really take a look at it. All right, hold on. I'm gonna take the lid off, and we'll shake it and get to a good spot in the sun. We'll be right here. All right. Okay, back at it. Snuffer dump. This is from going up and hanging out with Jeff. Ah, yeah. Look at all that. I cleaned it up pretty good, too. Of course, all those bubbles are in there. Let's see. Too much. Doesn't look like a lot, right? Okay, this is better. I got it all into one spot now. Let's check that out. Look at that. You can see it from up here. So, what's cool is there's an awful lot of very fine flower gold that I'd never seen from up there before. And this time, that Gold Hog mat picked it up. Look at that little baby little, specks in there. Smaller than that black sand. Got some good chunky little pieces right there. Looks good. Looks good all the way around. The pieces Jeff was saying are going to be a little bit smaller, and I think he's right. They are. I think in the other, further up the river we were getting the larger flakes, more larger flakes. But down here there were some larger flakes. You can see that at both ends, but there's also, some more fine stuff and smaller pieces for sure. Look at that little wiry one there in the middle. It's pretty cool. All right, well, it is lunchtime, so I gotta eat my lunch, go back to work, and I probably, I don't know, snuffer this back in. Do I try and weigh it? Do I see if I can actually touch that one and see if it is a picker? I don't know if it's a picker. I think it's 2 pieces. That big chunky thing there. So yeah, I'm gonna mess around with that stuff, get it back either in the jar or in its, I'm gonna wait until tonight and I'll put it in the bottle because I gotta eat my sandwich and get back to work. All right, some lunchtime fun. All right, well, Monday, and it's lunchtime, so time for some lunchtime prospecting. All right, so I brought the Gold Hog with me on Saturday, and when I was out there, it started pouring down rain. I mean, it looked just like this. It was windy, it was cloudy, so it looked just like that, and started sprinkling, and then all of a sudden, it just started pouring rain. So what I did is I folded these legs down, dropped this thing, pulled the legs out, threw those in the bucket in the tote that I was using as a recirculation tub. So, I dumped my water out, threw the Gold Hog in there, threw the legs in there, and because I'd been slowly packing up during the day, knowing that it was getting ready to happen. And there's a bee trying to eat my hamburger bun. So I folded it down, threw it in the tub, and walked off, took off. So let's see, drain that water, go, set that off on this side. So here's what the mats look like. Obviously, all we saw previously was all I did was run just this miner's moss. So I've already pulled the wing nut. I gotta get something underneath it to bang on the screw to pop that up, and I'll pull that out. But let's get a look at how this is looking. Is that gold? I don't know. I think that it is, but it could be mica as well. Let's see. I always say that.